Libertarian is. Libertarian is someone who says you can be as liberal or as conservative as you want to be. Just don't force others to be like you.
Got it.
That's what we are all about. We are all about long-term solutions, not short-term solutions. We're all about changing culture, not just changing law. Law, we have to remember something. At the end of almost every single law is a guy or a gal with a gun who will put you in a cage. And if you don't want to go in that cage, he or she is going to kill you. That means you only use law when it really matters, not just because I'm angry, not because I don't like you, not because you should do some activity I think you shouldn't do, or whatever the case may be. It's only for important things like life and liberty and property and things like that. That's when you use violence. That's when you use force. That's what libertarians are all about.
Welcome to Libertarians Drinking Coffee Live. The brand is strong. I am still drinking my coffee, but you don't have it in coffee. You could do like tea or something if you want to, but there we go. You could do like your vitamin water or whatever that might be. It's all good. It's just as long as we are all here drinking and talking, that's the most important thing. Thank you all for giving me a few moments of your afternoon. I am very lucky today. Super duper lucky today that I have with me an activist, former candidate, now current candidate for LNC chair, officer in the LP in California, and now the current chair of LA, the person herself, rocking and rolling, Angela McArdle. How are you?
I'm doing good. Oh, stop. You're too much.
Oh, I love it. It's great. I'm happy to have you here, and I'm glad you gave me a few minutes. For those of you who are interested in what she's doing, head on over to angelamcardle.com. Check that out. See what's going on, what she's thinking, and what she's doing. And, of course, always like, comment, and share so we get those algorithms going so more people see what we're doing. You know, you've been active in the party literally for years. You've run for office. You've been part of the, infrastructure, all those things. Why run for LNC chair, and why now?
Why run for the least liked, most hated position in the party?
Yes, the one that you would literally have to pay me a lot to do, literally.
Yeah. People should be paid for the job. I don't anticipate I'm going to be paid for it, but I intend to be like the party's really good ex-girlfriend. Like I'm gonna whip the party into really good shape, and the person who comes after me is gonna really benefit from it. And I can be, resentful and gnashing my teeth and saying, I did all of that. I did it, but I won't benefit. It's okay though. It's just, I say this a lot, and I can't say it enough, that I think what you should do in life to find meaning is to pick up the biggest burden you can carry and take it as far as you can. And that's how I feel with the LP national chair role. I can do it. I can stand to do it. I'm inspired to do it. And I think that we can do great things if I take the helm for a few years. And I want to do it. And I want to shield other people from having to do such dirty work. So let's rock and roll.
You bring up often. It's a big part of, I think, what you feel like you're bringing to the party is you are really against, your words, a watering down of the messaging. That's something you really don't like at all. Why? Don't we want to be the warm and fuzzy guys? I'm teasing, but you know what I'm talking about. I'm being the devil's advocate here. Don't we want to be the warm and fuzzy? Don't we not want to be the guy or gal who yells, "You're all wrong, statist"? Don't we want to not be that guy?
No, that's a little bit of a false dichotomy. I try not to scream at anyone that they're a statist. I don't think anyone even cares or understands what that term is outside of libertarian circles. That's just a libertarian insult. But, we have this fear of alienating normal people, and we shouldn't have that. We don't need to be ordinary to appeal to ordinary people. We don't need to water down our message. We need to be extraordinary to inspire ordinary people. And
so hold on, I want to say it again. We need to be extraordinary to inspire ordinary people.
That's right.
Okay.
That's what we need to do. And you're not going to do that if you're saying, I'm the middle guy, or I'm socially liberal and fiscally conservative. No, that doesn't inspire anyone. It's not interesting. It's also not technically true. That doesn't actually represent everyone in the party.
Yep.
So why don't we just be libertarians and not be embarrassed of our philosophical and political identities? I don't like that. I want us to have self-esteem.
Isn't the argument that I'm sure you've heard 1,000 times, and I'm sure you have an answer for, but I know someone's watching is thinking it, isn't the argument always, but we've been that way, Angela. We've been yelling taxation is theft for 50 years, and it's not working. Isn't that the argument that people give you?
Yeah, we've also been the party of fedoras and neckbeards and naked dudes stripping on stage. And so, you know, it's very possible to have principled, unapologetic, strong messaging delivered with a good messenger. A good messenger.
Got it. Okay.
I am a good messenger. There are excellent messengers. I would like us to move in that trajectory. I would like to be the transition.
Okay, I'll buy it. So what do you think are, say, the top 3 or 2 issues that you think the LNC, and for those who don't know, LNC is the Libertarian National Committee. It's basically the group of people who run the national party, basically. I mean, it's not 100% true, but it's close to that. So what are the top 3 issues that we're worried about now? I mean, we just have a new chair, right? We had Nick Sarwark for 3 terms, and now we have JBH. What has to change? Okay,
let's start just at the top. Number 1 issue, which is everyone's talking about today, every day, I guess, is opposing the lockdowns. This is a fundamental libertarian issue, and I believe today, according to everyone else and according to my best recollection, marks the first day that the LNC has actually sent out an email discussing it. So we're 1 year behind in our messaging. That is not good. I'm very glad that we have at least, joined the race, but I look at it as though we're an entire year behind. That's how out of touch we are at the national level. Not good.
Well, it's funny you bring that up because last year, literally, I put together 10 videos expressing how we deal with the COVID crisis and had nothing to do with lockdowns. I was anti-lockdown from the beginning. And I literally, if you go to my Sharpway YouTube page, there's 10 videos there from March of last year, a year ago, that said, don't do lockdowns. Here's the answer to solve your problems. We can still do this. And literally yesterday, we submitted a lawsuit against my amazing governor, Governor Cuomo, against more lockdowns. So I think at a local level, a lot of libertarians, I'm just saying myself because I know myself, but I know a lot of libertarians locally have been anti-lockdown. A lot of local libertarians have been doing it. Do you think that the national wasn't hearing the locals? The national didn't want to do. What do you think was a disconnect? Because I do think the average libertarian in their state, I think most of them were anti-lockdown. Not all, but I think most were. What was the disconnect?
I think that the National Party is very busy reflecting the culture instead of trying to create culture or being counterculture. We are desperate for the approval of what we see as the majority. And right now, the majority is the left. And before everybody gets all up in arms over it, I will say that in the past, there have been other years, maybe, like the year that we had Wayne Allen Root on the top ticket, we were chasing the right. So we're not oriented towards freedom. We're oriented towards pleasing whoever is at the top, and we're trying to beg them to pay attention to us. And so right now
I feel the opposite is true.
Tell me.
Let me push back a little bit.
Do it.
Please tell me if I'm wrong here. I feel generally the party leans the opposite of whoever's in charge. As a general rule, like New York is a very blue state. New York libertarians tend to lean right. Oklahoma is a very red state. I think Oklahoma libertarians tend to lean left. I think the party was going left because Trump was in charge. And I think that the party is going to go right now because Biden's in charge. I think we tend to be, as a group of individuals, we tend to be against whoever's in charge. And I think when Trump was in charge, a lot of right-wing libertarians went, well, I'll just go Republican because I've got a guy in charge. And the left said, we don't have anybody, so we'll go libertarian. And I think now that Biden's in charge, I think the reverse. I think the party will shift back towards right. I think your timing and moving towards away from the left is the right timing for the party. The party should, in my view, and I could be totally off here. In my view, I think the party will naturally go against whoever's in charge. Am I wrong?
I think that the party has been chasing the cultural zeitgeist, not reacting to to whoever is in charge politically. So what we see on the news, what the biggest chatter that we see on social media, the pushback that we get from academia, I think that those are the people that we have been trying to appease at the national level.
Okay.
And I don't approve.
I see. Okay. I know, I get it. So you're not really even talking about the state level. You're talking to specifically national level.
Yes, national and cultural. And I got to tell you, there have been some state parties that have been they have absolutely principled and unapologetic. I think most of them. California has just absolutely rebuked the lockdowns, and we have had protests up and down the state. We have passed a resolution. LA County has obviously been super opposed to it. We've been participating in black market stuff and agorism. In addition to protests, Colorado has been really outspoken. Oklahoma, they're very lucky. I don't believe they had a lockdown, but I think they've got some really principled leadership, and they definitely wouldn't be kowtowing to lockdowns.
So how does national then? I'll do the old question I'm sure you're ready for, right? If you were the chair, right? So if you were the chair now, and the state parties, I think majority of them, I may be wrong, I don't remember all of them, but I think the majority of our state parties were anti-lockdown. How do you support that when you literally have 50 parties who all, I assume, are going to be like, give me attention, national. Angela, give me attention. Isn't every state going to want attention? How do you handle that when you're just one national party?
Well, there's 365 days a year, and there's only 50 states. So that math makes it pretty easy. But the biggest thing we can do is put forth messaging that actually reinforces and bolsters the messaging we're seeing at the state level. Got it. Because what state parties and county affiliates get upset about, one of the things that they're upset about with national messaging is we work so hard to say, we're anti-lockdown. We passed this resolution. We're the only party in the state that did it. Like California, the GOP has been absolute cowards, especially in LA County. And then, so we're talking about stuff. People hear about it. They go home, and what do? They Google Libertarian Party. Yes, that's how it goes. They don't type in Angela McArdle, Libertarian Party of Los Angeles County. Right. You type in Libertarian Party, and what pops up? LP National sending out an embarrassing tweet every couple of days, maybe. That's why it's important. I don't want people to think that I think the only thing happening at national is social media. I know that's not true, but it's the outward facing appearance to the rest of the country. And that's why it's important we put on our best face.
I'd love to hear your opinion on this. I am, as you know, I have been running my social media for since 2016, about 5 years now. And most people are surprised on how hands-off I am on my social media. It is, I have virtually almost no checks and balances for my social media. I literally allow libertarians who have access to my social media, my team, and my team has access. And very often they post, and I don't even know what they're posting. The amount of times I would pick up my Twitter and go, oh, I said that? Wow, I'm genius. Like, I didn't say that, but they put my name and they do it, so I guess I said it now. So now all of a sudden I'm the smartest guy in the room. Have I made mistakes? Yeah, of course. Absolutely. But in my view, and I'm not saying mine is the right view at all, because I'm speaking more as an individual, as a candidate in many cases. The LP is speaking as a whole for a group. Do you think it's better to lean towards letting stuff go, or is it better to lean towards having a more, controlled process?
No, I think what you need to do is you vet your people carefully, which you can do. And at the national level, you've got people in 50 states competing to do this stuff. And you trust the people who are on your team to do what you want them to do, and you empower them, and you just let them go. I hate micromanaging. I don't do it at the county level, and any state level committees that I chair. I do not micromanage people. I empower them to do the best job that they can, to the best of their abilities, and take it from there. You can't micromanage someone into being better at social media. You just can't do it. It's a skill, and you have it or you don't.
So I'll ask the next question, which I get all the time, and I've dealt with it myself. Someone is going to make a mistake, guaranteed, because we're humans. They're going to put up something they shouldn't have put up, or think you mean this when you meant that, or whatever. That is going to happen. They're going to screw something up. When they do you think it's appropriate to get rid of them when they make the error?
I think it depends on the circumstance and the person. And if something was done with malice to hurt someone or to damage the party, or they used a personal grudge, I think you should consider getting rid of them. If someone didn't Google something right, or they screwed up or made, an embarrassing typo, which you can type accidentally a 4-letter word sometimes. I've seen it happen at work, some ridiculous work emails. No, you don't need to fire someone over that. You need to foster good culture too. So if you have a good group of people, then they're going to want to be accountable for their mistakes. They're going to want to do better, and they're going to be more careful.
So do you mind if we take a couple of comments?
Let's do it, man.
Susan loves you. She says, we love you guys. All right. So you've got a winner there. There we go. Nasim says, never give up. Fight for liberty. Love that. You get a lot of fans. Nate says, yes. Rob says, I like her. Right. I like that. There we go. You're winning. Look at you go. William doesn't like milquetoast messaging.
Me neither.
So, there we go. You're the same. Joe says, stop chasing, start leading. How do you see that? I mean, there's a part of a feeling when you run for office that you've got to kind of chase, right? That's the emotion that comes out. I got to get these people to like me. I got to get these people to pay attention to me. I think the average, you run for office, there's that piece inside you that goes, I need them to like me. There's a part of you who says that. And there's the part of you that goes, no, I've got to be the leader. How do you balance that on a national level? It's challenging, isn't it?
Yeah, it's challenging. It takes guts. You've got to stick to your guns. So when I ran for Congress in 2017, I'm in practically a communist district in California.
I
the 34th
know.
District.
I live in New York City. I'm with you.
Right. Literal red marches on Labor Day through my congressional district. And in 2017, I was very afraid of offending everyone. And
Sure.
I had a lot of media attention because it was a special election. There was a circus show. There were 26 candidates, including me. And I put out what I thought was safe, careful messaging, and I didn't get votes. And I had really good principled activists, Jared Hall and Michelle McCutcheon and other people from the Feldman Foundation were working really hard on my campaign. And I had a solid campaign team, and I just didn't get the votes. And it really sucked. 2018, I ran in the regular election. And I said, okay, I'm not going to be so safe with my messaging. Maybe my flyers won't be so scary, but I'm going to be really unapologetic and intense. And I did way better. So we have to sort of get over this fear of being rejected by people who already don't like us. And we want to have people's respect, right? I think when people respect you, they're going to be more prone to changing their mind about maybe liking you in the future. So
Why Libertarian says we can't go back and forth. We need a consistent message that is principled. The back and forth is why we mostly tread water. Look, I think that's easier said than done. And my worry here with that is there is a left and right paradigm that exists in the country. Mm-hmm. And when you pick up a left issue, the people on the right will feel like you're turning left. And when you pick up a left issue, the people on the right will feel like, you're turning whatever. I think I might have said it wrong. But anyway, everyone will feel the opposite, right? So when you start talking about, the war on drugs or something like that, or, criminal justice reform, the right goes, what do you care about that? Back to blue. What are you doing? You're becoming a lefty. And we're not becoming lefties, the libertarian issues, right?
Absolutely.
And we talk about cutting taxes and supporting small business. The left goes, why do you care about corporations and business now? But no, those are libertarian views. So I think even if you are to stay libertarian, I think there's still a worry. I deal with it all the time. People thinking, almost every week, someone calls me either a paleo plant or I am, so literally I was told I'm so left, I can't write. I've been insulted both sides on both of them. So I may have done anything right. But my point being, I'm yapping a lot, is that being principled can still feel to the average American like we're going back and forth. Am I wrong?
I don't think you're wrong. And I think this is why you need someone who is good at messaging. But I will also give the caveat that, or let me frame it like this. Right
Okay.
now, with the lockdowns, we have been given, an unprecedented attack on our liberties, but an unprecedented opportunity to present principled messaging that does appeal to both sides. Because now I can't tell you how many left-leaning small business owners I've encountered who have said, "What is going on? This is a nightmare. I don't want to vote for Donald Trump. I can't stand him. But what do I do? My party has abandoned me." The homelessness crisis, the piles and piles. There's mountains of garbage, small hills of garbage in LA County. It's disgusting. And it's all under left leadership. So talking about cleaning up the trash and helping our communities all of a sudden has taken a kind of libertarian conservative slant without sounding like pandering. Opening up the state so that LGBT people don't have to like move back home with unsupportive family members, so that illegal immigrants can work because they're not getting welfare. You can talk about very, quote unquote, right-leaning issues to a leftist community, and they're going to hear you. And you have no problem doing that messaging right now to people who are conservative, because of course they want to open up. This is one of the reasons that I think it's so important that we speak about the lockdowns a whole lot, because there's just like so many opportunities for us to just 100% hit it home.
Angela, can I get you to move your camera down a little bit? I'm missing a little bit of your face.
Oh, goodness.
There we go. Yes, now we're good. Perfect. Thank you. Now we're good. Thank you.
You got it.
So I'm just making sure people see who you are. They're gonna maybe vote for you in 2 years, so they should know who you are, right? So absolutely. So all right. So I get where you're going with that completely. There's a fear now with left and right, and you see it in all the interwebs. The Mises Caucus is taking over the world. They're going to kill us all, right? That's going to happen, and the world's going to end. I hear it a lot.
Sure.
You are a member of the Mises Caucus. People are afraid you're going to come over and bring all the alt-righters and kill us all. How do we not do what the country's doing? Meaning create a left-right break within our own party, right? One of the reasons why people don't like me is because I won't hate the other.
Yeah.
Right? I won't hate the other. And because I won't hate the pragmatics, or I won't hate the radicals, I won't hate Mises, because I won't hate people get mad at me. Larry, you got to help us stop the other from destroying the party. And my answer is always the same thing. If you're unhappy with the other bringing in people, bring in more people of your type, and then we can just all grow together. That's always been my answer. How do we change or not fall into that? Because I feel last year that's what happened during our presidential nomination process. That left and right broke up and solidified without ever talking about each other, and we wound up getting our second choice, everyone's second choice. Versus anybody's first choice. We got everybody's second choice versus anybody's first choice. And I'm worried that the same thing might continue at a national level. I went long on that. But again, I've given you a lot. Please bloviate to the best of your ability.
I think that as a party, we have a lot of emotionally stunted, immature people who are in the party. And that may offend some people. And that's okay. I think you should go home and really reflect on that if it offends you. People who spend all day long arguing on social media thinking that it's activism are wrong. That is not activism. Screaming at other libertarians about how they're alt-right Nazis, leftist libtard lawbirds, it's not activism. I don't do it. I don't engage in it. I appreciate that Joe Bishop Hinchman doesn't seem to engage in it either. It doesn't help anyone. And I wish that I could just say, hey, if we all just work on libertarianism and stop fighting, then we won't fight anymore and we'll achieve more liberty. Like I will say that, but the reality is that right now people aren't going to do that because they care more about their own social status within a small libertarian party than they care about achieving freedom. So some people need to get their priorities in order. My priority is advancing liberty because I live in a tyrannical lockdown state where people have been threatened with jail time for trying to provide with their families. That's what I care about. Maybe some of you have prioritized police brutality even more than lockdowns.
Sure.
Fine. then work on it and stop screaming at everyone else. You know, whatever your priority is, if you're fighting for liberty, we should be able to all get along. And if you find yourself constantly attacking other people on social media, you should reevaluate your priorities and, you know, maybe take a hard look at some of the things in life that are making you so angry on such a personal level.
So let me then ask what I assume would be what people in the Mises Caucus would be most concerned about would be the Libertarian Socialists, or the LibSocs, right? Is that a concern? Is that a worry? I hear it often that, oh, the LibSocs going to take over. I've heard that narrative, particularly last year. I heard that narrative a lot last year. Not as much now, but last year I heard a lot of that narrative. Is that a concern also, or no?
Seems like that's mostly died off. I don't think that's the biggest concern right now. I think the biggest concern culturally from the Mises Caucus is that the National Party is chasing the culture of the left instead of promoting principled messaging. And I agree with that, you know, but I don't think it's necessarily Libertarian Socialist or Audacious Caucus or anything like that. I think that we're concerned about it coming from a more pragmatic level, even if it's not the Pragmatist Caucus. I don't spend a lot of time fighting with other caucuses. I'm very, very active in the Mises Caucus because it's a professional environment where I've been able to recruit people and they feel welcome, and I can kind of shelter them from the rest of the drama in the party. And for other people who are working in caucuses, maybe you work the same way. You know, I don't know because I don't kind of lurk in everybody's groups, but I do find that it's very effective that way. You can create a really good culture, you know, in a controlled environment.
Okay. So messaging, a big deal for you, clearly. I mean, that's been number one. Is there anything that comes close to that, or is that really, is it number one, number two close, or is it number one and then the next thing is far down the list?
It's a little further down. The budget is a mess. We don't make much money.
Got it. Okay.
We don't make much money, and we tend to wear out the same volunteers over and over and over again. Donors,
burnout.
I mean.
Yeah, donor burnout. Absolutely.
Donor burnout.
I understand.
So that's one of the reasons that I think all of these things work together. So we have better messaging. We can get more donors. There are a lot of principled, liberty-minded donors. Maybe they donate to the GOP. They probably donate to conservative causes, NRA, GOA, other things. You know, we should be getting their donations. And maybe they look at our social media or our messaging and say, not yet. So let's fix one, and then we can start making a little bit more money. And then when we bring in more money, maybe we can, hire a lobbyist. This is what I'm working on in LA County, at the county level in California. Why am I in LA County closer to achieving that than national? That is sad. Membership also. We need to have more membership. And I don't think that we need to have like a shotgun blast to grab literally everyone who will sign up. We should try to have principled, incremental, consistent growth. And we'll get that with principled messaging and, you know, maybe also focusing our membership efforts and taking advice from people who've been doing this for a while, getting seasoned staff on. You know, we let Jess Mears go, and I don't want to get into the gossip of that, but I don't think it was a good choice.
You think Jess Mears was not a good choice, or you think letting her go was not a good choice?
I think letting her go and not having a membership director was a poor choice. Okay. I think letting her go was a poor choice. I think not having a membership director was a poor choice. Okay. Even if there was something going on that I didn't know about, I don't think we should have gotten rid of membership. And I'm sure they're restructuring membership and working on that right now. But I think that that's something that needs a personal touch. Okay. And I would know because I have to do most of the membership recruitment in LA County. And when I reach out to someone, I usually get back the response, yes, yep. I'll join. Thanks for reminding me. And if they're not renewing, I know exactly why. And then I can be like, all right, well, that sucks. Or they had a good point. Or, oh, I wish I had contacted them. You know, there's just so much.
No, I get it. Yep. All right, let me grab a couple more comments. Got a lot of comments here. People care here. Chris says, what if what is described here as begging for attention is actually just people expressing their principal beliefs that you don't agree with. I haven't been embarrassed by LP tweets. I guess his point is, if what you see as trying to get attention, what if, and I don't know this, I'm going by his question. What if the individual who posted it, they believe that they believe that that's a real important thing. They're not chasing the culture. That's their culture. They think it's true. What if that was the issue?
Okay, time to get someone else to do messaging, because that's not what's reflected in the larger liberty community. And those are the people who are the low-hanging fruit we should be recruiting. I don't mean liberty-friendly Republicans. I mean people who say, I'm a libertarian, but I'm not part of the party because XYZ. If we can't reach them, we got a serious problem. And there's a lot of them that are not ready to join us yet.
Okay, there we go. Brian says, I just assumed the silence from the National was due to lack of media coverage, and I just missed those social media posts. Surprised to find out that they were a year behind. So you have people who didn't even know that. You've just educated somebody.
Yeah, and I think there have been 3 tweets about the lockdown in the past year. So we're at 1 email and 3 tweets.
Wow. Okay. Missy says, great job, Angela. It takes a lot of courage to stand up, use your voice, and run for office. Well, there we go. Missy knows. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Janice seems to be on your side. She says, I just renewed my CALP membership. You know, my son, Richard, he'll be back from college to attend the CALP convention is that Visalia?
Visalia, yeah.
Visalia in May. I told her with your message. So you got some fans here. So that's
Thanks,
a good thing,
Janice.
I guess. So Mike asked an important question. Mike says, what can individuals do to make an impact on the national party? Are efforts better focused at state and local? And this is a question I get all the time, right? Larry, how do I make national better? Larry, should I be working at my local or my state? Or where should I give my money, right? Should I give my $25 to my local or to my state or whatever? What's your view on this?
My view on this is twofold. One is you should pay attention to what's going on at national and volunteer for a position when it's available and if you can. There are a lot of committee applications that have been sent. I don't know if applications are closed, but that's a thing. I think volunteering at the local level is the most important if you're interested in grassroots organizing and trying to get people elected to local office. If you have time to do both, I would suggest you do both, but prioritize local. Yeah, especially if you live in a blue state.
Yeah, I say the same thing. It's funny. People ask me all the time. I say, Larry, I don't know, what to do with my money and my time. And my opinion usually is similar to what you're saying. If you've got the cash to where you can support local, state, and national, please, if you're in a position where you can donate to all 3, please do that. If you're not in that position, I'm with you. I would say start local. Focus your cash and your efforts on local. If you have enough to keep going, then go up the stream. That's kind of the way I always think, right? Depends on where you are financially and with your time. If you've got lots of time, do all 3. If you don't have that all time, then I would focus local. I agree. I think we're on the same page there. I'm sorry,
yeah.
Was there more? I didn't want to cut you off. Go ahead.
Well, so in California, we've got Gavin Newsom. He's awful. Maybe he's probably maybe tied for second place. He's second place, and maybe Whitmer and Cuomo are tied for first. Maybe that's what it is.
No, Cuomo's first. I beat
Cuomo's
you.
first. Okay. Cuomo's first, and
Yes.
then Whitmer's second, and then Gavin Newsom is third. Okay, so the top 3. The people who've been able to defy his orders are people who are in governance at the local level. And so this has been very clear to me where libertarians need to focus their effort is you need to get on city council and you need to have influence at the county board of supervisors level, because these are the people who are holding off these tyrants that we can't fight back against in other ways.
I love that. Aaron is teasing. He says, if you don't hate other caucus, you're not a real libertarian. Sadly, people actually believe that, Aaron. I know it's a joke, but yeah, exactly. Scott's on your page. He says, don't worry about the national LP. Apply for a border commission in your town.
There you go.
I think he's with you 100%. He's saying, strengthen it. I mean, that's really a piece here. This is, he says, I'm a libertarian, but not in the party. The infighting and not real libertarian has stopped me. Now, that's different than the messaging, isn't it? Or is it? Is the infighting an issue?
Yeah, it's an issue. Whenever I meet someone new who is a libertarian who wants to join the party, I never, ever, ever encourage them to go on Facebook and join libertarian groups. I try to shield them from that as long as possible.
That's great.
If someone tells me they're not on Facebook, I'm like, oh, good, okay, you know.
It's an issue. It really is. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let me ask then, how do you think that national, or you, if you win this thing, can make impact in the actual country, right? I think most people feel, and maybe wrong or right, but they feel that the way national makes impact is by the percentage or number of votes the presidential candidates get. I think that's what most people think. They go, oh, if we got a lot of votes, national does well. Didn't do votes, national didn't do well. I know that isn't the only criteria. So help me to kind of, how do we make impact besides just, don't get me wrong, I won a lot of votes. Of course I do. But how do you make impact? Or is that the way?
I think you need to have principled messaging, and you need a vehicle for that messaging. So now these things sort of work together. We need someone on the national ticket to go out and give it their very best. I appreciate that Gary Johnson got a ton of votes. That did not translate into long-term membership growth. It just didn't. That's, it got a lot of people who were like, well, Orange Man bad and Hillary murder woman bad. Great. And then we didn't get further than that. So we need someone who's going to inspire people to join the party. And it may be a smaller chunk than Gary Johnson got, but it might mean sustained growth. And I think that's what we need to focus on, because that is what empowers and bolsters and grows our grassroots movements. Because now we've got, instead of people just checking off a box every 4 years, people who are interested and saying, I'm going to help the local LP. Maybe I want to run for city council. I want to get on that weird ass water board thing that you were telling me about. Not waterboarding. I mean, the water district board. I'll be the dog.
Feel the same. They feel the same.
They feel the same, man. Whatever. Garbage pickup dog catcher guy. That's how we are going to make this thing work.
So you're actually saying, if I get what you're saying, you're saying that votes aren't the actual end. They may be a means, but they're not the end. The end is actually sustained membership growth. That's the actual end game. That's the issue. And if that means extra votes, great. If it doesn't, also great, as long as we're growing membership.
Yes. Obviously, we need to get enough votes to maintain ballot access. We do need that, and I respect that. But we need to not water down our messaging so much that we're trying to get, literally win in the next 4 years, because those people aren't inspired. We want to inspire people to join us and take up our cause.
Got it. Great. Well, I'm happy that you give me so much time. If those interested in what Angela's doing, please head over to angelamcardle.com to check her out. And did I miss anything? Anything you want to talk about before we wrap this up?
Yeah, if you live in California, you can join the California Party at calp.org. And if you're interested in seeing what we do in LA County, you can always join us at lplac.us. We're always happy to have new members.
There we go. I love it. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Angela, thank you for giving me so much of your time. I appreciate it. Good luck. I hope things go well. Remember, it's AngelaMcArdle.com. Guys, I will be on again later on today, and of course tomorrow too, every day, looking at my mug. Thank you guys so much. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.